Welcome to the Village Green, NBTV's program on the environment. I'm Nancy Gardner, your host, and you may think I look a little odd, but there's a method in my madness. We're going to talk today with a company that manufactures these paddle tops as well as other products and find out a lot about the challenges of trying to be green when you're making things. I am here with Pat O'Connell. We're at Florence Marine, right here in Newport Beach, and not just their retail store, but your
office.
Everything. It's
Yeah.
your headquarters. So, Pat, what's your title?
I'm the president.
You are the president.
Yes.
Now, this is how I came to Florence Marine.
Here, I'll help you here.
Yeah. So, my friend Roger Wyatt gave me this, and I was just.
Did you know what to do with it at first?
I put anything on, doesn't it? but no, it was explained to me that this is for paddling.
Yes.
And gives you extra cover.
Yeah.
And I paddle, so this was great. But I have to say, I'd never heard of Florence
Yeah.
Marine. And so I went online and looked at your website and was very impressed with how green you're trying to be. And now we're going to talk about that. We haven't reached, as you say, the holy grail of greenness yet. We still have issues, but really want to go over that. But let's start a bit about just the background.
Yeah.
How did this start?
Well, so for people who don't know, John Florence is a two-time world champion.
Well, you're pretty much of a champion too.
Well,
Let's not overlook
that
that.
was a long time ago.
Well,
it was a long time ago. So John is a two-time world champion. He's an Olympian. And more than that, he's just a real forward thinker. He grew up on the beach in Hawaii on the North Shore of Oahu. His backyard is the most beautiful, pristine, sometimes dangerous environment in the world. And it sort of shaped who John is today.
Oh, is he by the pipeline, or
He grew up on the beach at Pipeline.
we spent a summer, part of a summer there one time?
So you see, in the summertime, there's not a lot of surf.
Mm-hmm.
And so John would find, like it's a playground in his backyard every day. And sometimes he's surfing, sometimes he's sailing, sometimes he's paddling. And so basically the brand started on this premise of getting out there, like, hey, pushing people, making product that gets you off your butt, off the sofa, and into the water. And so John is the sort of epitome, of doing that every day and challenging himself. And, and then with the Hurley family and the knowledge they've had and the, amazing product we've been able to build, sort of a match made in heaven.
So, as I say, what caught my eye was the clean line. And is that something sort of a philosophy, or is it just somebody's eye said, let's do it this way?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. It's style. It's also, we're building everything from a performance standpoint first. And so a lot of unnecessary things are gone that someone may add a bunch of things that don't make a lot of sense. But even simple things of where the pockets are, they're in a place so that, in the water you're not sitting on them. And, everything is designed with a purpose.
So let's talk about some product here. You've got shorts and you've got very clean, again.
Yep.
You do have a print here. These are made of what?
They're made of recycled PET. So basically, they take water bottles and they grind them down, and basically they make fibers to make these shorts.
So you get you spin them somehow,
Yes.
and you dye them, and you do all the normal processes, and so you have taken something that is pernicious, and you've made it something that we can wear.
Yeah.
Now you have a caveat
Yes.
there, and I think this is really important because I won't go into that story, but so many times people who are trying to do the right thing get dinged
Yeah.
because it's not perfect.
Yep.
And we haven't reached perfection yet. And the concern here is what?
Well, I think our approach has never been sort of chest beating to say, hey, we're a green company. Hey, really, we're in this. We're doing the best we can at every step. And we're learning every day. So I'll give you an example. So John is on the board with Tom Ford. They have a plastic initiative. that is trying to eliminate single-use plastics within production. And so one of the biggest issues in the apparel industry is the plastics that each product is bagged in from a factory that goes to either our warehouse and ends in the end consumer's lap. They have been, I mean, if you think of the millions and millions of units of product that are shipped every day, every year, it's a staggering number. And so what we're working on is solutions to that, whether it be a non-plastic, something that you can either it biodegrades or something like that, or hey, we've even gone to removing them and recycle them properly. But there's a lot of smart people who are looking at alternative uses, because ultimately we've been doing this for a long time, and there's a million different options. We just have to find the right one.
So to get back to the shorts, you said that that perhaps long term this wouldn't be the perfect solution. Is that?
Yeah, I think there's different materials. So we also make a nylon. So one of our founding principles is like, hey, if we make a short that's going to last 20 years, it's durable. So the idea of people not going and, hey, my short broke down in 6 months, I need to buy another one. It's like, hey, actually the short's going to be around for 10 years.
I love that idea, and I don't think we think about it enough, as of durability is really a huge environmental component.
It is.
I mean, I have gotten to the point, but when you get to be my age, you get to a lot of points, but trying to avoid consumption. I mean, I'm sorry, eat.
Overconsumption.
But
yes.
yeah, I mean, my wardrobe's fine.
Yes.
I know I don't need to go out and buy anything because I have enough clothes.
Yeah.
And to make them more durable and lasting, that's a big thing, because we can't keep consuming.
Yeah, it's a big thing. And even so, we make wetsuits. Wetsuits are made to order, so we don't stock hundreds of wetsuits on a rack. If you want to order a wetsuit, you can come buy a wetsuit from us. It takes 6 weeks. We hand make it and we send it to you. That wetsuit will last 3 seasons if you take care of it properly. I mean, hey, look, but very simply, rather than going and buying a new wetsuit every 6 months, we say, hey, our wetsuit's going to cost a little bit more. It's a nicer wetsuit. It's, custom at some level, and you don't have to keep buying new stuff. And so if you think about that in a pair of board shorts, that this becomes sort of like your new best friend that you hang on,
And do you really need 10 pairs of shorts in 10 different colors? That's a personal choice. Well,
yeah.
I think that's interesting about the wetsuits, because I came out of surfing in the 50s and early 60s, and that was when Hobie and Velzy had little shops in Dana Point, and almost every board in those days was custom. You went in, you said, I want, of course there were big boards, but I want this and this color, and a couple of weeks later you would get your board. And now you go into a store and there are hundreds of boards there just to pick out, which is fine. I mean, it gives you a lot of variety, but again, you have that sort of overproduction and hoping people buy, where there when it's one-on-one. So that's
and
that's
again is as we sort of take from John, in the sense that John has never been the one sort of beating his chest and saying, sort of, look at me. We look at every decision around sustainability as, yep, we're going to do the right thing, and I think ultimately durability is a big part of it. But we don't say we have all the answers. We're just like anyone else trying to make the right decisions.
Why don't you have all the answers?
Yeah, they seem to be changing every day.
And that's part of it, that we learn the things that, now I can remember, I saw all sorts of examples of things we thought were such a great idea.
Yeah.
And 5 years later, 10 years later, 100 years later or something, go, oh, that wasn't very smart, but we didn't know at the time, so that's good. I notice you make a lot of different products. You have hats, you have shoes, and anything about those that are of interest?
So when we look at our t-shirt line currently, we have 2 blanks that we're using. Organic cotton, and we have a really interesting story we use. There's a company that does, they're called Recover, and the t-shirts are organic t-shirts, and basically when a t-shirt is made, the scraps hit the ground, they put them in a bin, they regrind them up, and they keep doing that. And so every scrap is used.
Oh.
And so rather than having all the leftover, basically we are taking T-shirts that have been remilled into, and those are our recovered T-shirts. So, we don't even have T-shirts. Oh, that is organic. I'll show you. All of these are recovered T-shirts.
Oh.
And they
Very, very soft.
very soft. And so, yeah, really, really interesting story.
But I think that's an example right there of the challenge. Great, it's organic or recycled, scrapped cotton. But at the same time, cotton's a challenge. Cotton's a very intensive crop. And so, it's better that it's organic because we're not getting the pesticides, but we're still facing the challenge of
a cotton.
Yeah, and that's just the ongoing challenge of a business of trying to find what you do. But
solutions.
But I love the idea of the scraps. That's a
and again is I think the way our team looks at it is that, hey, we're a solution-based company and always trying to find the right answer. Whether it be, hey, making more durable product, spending the extra time on an extra stitch, the build, so it lasts longer, a different opportunity, how we're going to source cotton, whatever it may be. We're sort of in it every day.
So you have here, and you have your little complex.
Yeah.
Is this design and marketing and that sort of thing? Everything?
Yeah, this is.
You don't produce here.
We don't produce here.
Yeah, but everything else.
Yep.
And where do you produce?
So we have, I think, about 7 different factories around the world. Different depends on the garment. So T-shirts, some are local. It just depends. A lot of our board shorts come from a factory that we've worked with actually for about 20 years. They're based out of China. They're amazing. Actually, all of our utility tops stuff, the shirt that you're wearing right here, these are being manufactured in Madagascar, of all places. And so, we have a pretty diverse group of factories that we work with. And, they really are the best. And that's kind of one of the things is as our business is moving and changing, finding the right factories is a really big part, and actually doing the research to say, hey, back in the Nike days, they had to have a Blue Star approved, and we feel really good about our factories. They, there's no human rights issues, none of those things, which is another piece of doing business.
Environmental justice.
That's right, and so we think we have the best factories in the world.
Do you find that there's a back and forth? Are you able to influence? Do you go out and just find the perfect company, with perfect in quotes, of course, or are you find a company that's pretty good and then you help them improve, or how does it work?
Yeah, I think they all learn. We're all in this together. Certainly on the plastic initiative, there's a lot of that. It's brands like us driving the change, because ultimately, hey, it's a change in their process. So there's a lot of that sort of, hey, we're learning, offering up solutions to them, and vice versa. It truly is a partnership.
Well, it looks like a young partnership. I walk through, and you're an old man here.
I am an old man here. I am. It's actually really fun. This business keeps you young. When we walk through the parking lot, there's surfboards and wetsuits hanging out.
Right.
We're having fun while we're doing this.
Well, the location is at 62nd Street and Coast Highway, so there's just you can pick your board up and trot across and catch a few, and that's always, I'm sure, encouraging when you recruit.
Yes,
it's
very easy. It's very easy to recruit. Yeah.
As I say, I went on the website, and I think what was interesting to me, aside from the fact that I was intrigued with green, was the fact that you did talk so much about what your efforts are in terms of the environment. And so that becomes another tool of education.
Yeah,
I
well-
think it just, people who might just be saying, oh, I saw this cool shirt, I want one, and then, oh, I hadn't really thought about that, and so you can use it that way as well, which is nice.
For sure. One other thing I would point out is that we have a membership.
Oh,
And so
okay.
as people become members of our brand, we donate to Sea Trees. And Sea Trees then plant a tree in the mangroves. And they're also looking at, all the kelp that we used to have
right.
and replanting kelp. And so the idea of us being a sort of in the middle of the sustainable change, and not just in the apparel we're making, but actually doing things that are important to the environment. That's kind of how we see ourselves. It's, hey, we're going to make the best choices we can make, but also we can, work with John, and he's very focused on sustainability, certainly getting rid of plastics as his Tom Ford initiative. But these are other things that we can sort of tune in, whether it be Sea Trees or, we're doing a bunch of stuff too, which with lifeguards, junior lifeguards, and kind of supporting those kids to get out, get in the ocean. And, it's not just the apparel.
Get them young.
Yeah, well, it is, but it's also, it's get kids off the couch, get off the video game, get into the ocean, get that experience. We see that as also another part of sustainability, because ultimately, those kids grow up and they see the environment the way that it was meant to, and they will feel that same need to keep it pristine.
Well, I go back to Sea Trees and mentioning kelp, because I think a lot of people don't realize that you can sort of plant kelp. And they think, oh, we got plenty of kelp. But my father, who came to Newport in 1920 and was a skin diver, this is before scuba, but he would tell me of that you go, and when you were diving, you had to be sure that there was a hole someplace, because the thick kelp bed was so thick that you didn't have a way out. You could just drown there because you didn't have an air tank or something. And that has certainly changed. I know it's a challenge that's going to be another challenge, of course, with global warming if the water warms, because kelp doesn't like warm water particularly.
So in front of my house in Dana Point, we had radically thick kelp beds the longest time. And then I want to say during El Nino, the latest, maybe 3-4 years ago, the final bits had died out, and we haven't seen any, really small pieces. And yeah, it's actually, it changes our beaches.
Yes.
So, and you can see I'm getting old enough now that I'm seeing all the change, whether it be sand flow, all of that stuff, it's changing the coastline.
Well, your surfing roots are very strong here in this company, and I can remember when I was involved with Surf Rider for a long time.
Yep.
And that surfers always said that they were the canaries in the coal mines.
Because they saw it.
Because you see it and you're with it all the time. And you're a perfect example of that, of just having seen from your time in the water and time on the beach some of the changes. Would you like to show us other things?
Yeah, let's go. Let's cruise around.
I am with Bob Hurley. The name is well known because of the Hurley brand, but you're down here at Florence.
Yeah.
And what's your connection?
Morning, Nancy. Well, we were in the clothing business for quite a while under the name Hurley. Mm-hmm. Before that, we had the brand Billabong. Mm-hmm. We gave that back. We started Hurley. Hurley went on for a long time, very successful, and we partnered with Nike. Super great partnership. And then Nike ended up selling it, and then we all went on to do something else. And we're doing Florence now with John Florence.
All right.
It's the greatest thing ever.
Well, with coming out of the surfing thing with Hurley, and now this seems like certainly a natural segue. But is there something in particular that attracted you with this particular brand and the way you're going? I'll tell you what attracted me.
Yeah.
Your friend Roger Wyatt, that's telling you, gave me a shirt, and I thought, well, this is really good looking. It was a one with the
Oh, yeah? You liked it?
Yeah, but I hadn't heard of it.
Wait, the shirt with the hood on it?
Yeah.
I have that. I wear it. It's insane, right?
Yeah, it's great for paddling.
Okay.
But I hadn't heard of the brand.
Yeah.
So I went online, went to the website, and what impressed me was how much of the sustainability was emphasized throughout. And Pat and I have been talking about that and the challenges. I mean, it's hard to find the perfect product right now but you do the best you can.
Yeah.
But so, what sort of were you as you began this? Was that a focus, or is that something that's come along, or is it a long time focus of, say, with Hurley as well? What's the story there?
Yeah, well, I think that's a super good question. You know, with
I only ask super good questions.
you do? Wow, I got to get a book of good
Yeah,
questions.
yeah.
Well, our family only has a history of working with friends and family, so it's kind of weird. I mean, whether it's Nike
like
or
that,
Billabong,
yeah, I like
and
that.
it's always been friends and family, or artists or entertainers. So John Florence was always friends and family. He feels like part of our family, and we're neighbors in Hawaii, and he's really interested in sustainability. Well, so when Hurley got sold, he was out of a job, and we had a lot of meetings with him trying to help him with his next job. And we decided the best thing we could do for him and our family, and contributing to the planet a little bit, is to try to do something really neat, innovative, and sustainable. So myself personally, I'm always fascinated with innovation and imagination, and he's got plenty of it in spades, top of the heap. So we're learning from him on sustainability, and we're contributing when we can, and it's super fun.
So it's interesting that is he in Hawaii though?
John Florence is currently in Fiji.
Oh.
I'm following his Instagram quite jealously.
Oh, all right, well, good waves there. He's having a lot of fun. But is he like the creative brain, or is he sort of your inspiration, or how does it work there?
Well, he's incredibly creative. There's a bunch of creative people here.
I can tell just looking
Yeah,
around.
they're super good.
Super young.
Yeah, and it's a good team effort. But Ryan Hurley here is a creative director, my son, and
Now, did he work at?
yeah, he was a big player in Billabong and Hurley, and a big shot at Nike, kind of. He doesn't look like one, but he is. He's very creative and imaginative. And you pair him with John, who I've been to really big meetings at Nike with. I would sit at any business table with John Florence. He is a sharp, creative businessman, and Fast Company magazine just recognized him as one of the most creative business people.
Oh.
If you can believe that.
Yeah.
He's super innovative. We're involved with Tom Ford's plastic initiative. John got invited because he's that guy. He's very
In other words,
thoughtful
we
and
have
very
a different
creative.
surfing image than Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, that's one thing we love about John Florence. High intelligence level, high curiosity,
Well,
high humility, all
Anybody
that
that
stuff.
surf knows there's a lot of sharp, clever,
Yeah.
creative people.
Well, you do, but a lot of people
Yeah,
don't. They're
yeah.
like, oh, surfer dude.
Right.
That's not John Florence at all.
Yeah, well, that's great. So, do you have an active role? I mean, are you hands-on here, or
Probably more
does-
active than people would like. Yeah, super
Oh,
good.
here it comes again.
Yeah, super good friends with John Florence, and obviously there's family here, and I'm a partner in this business, and I let other people do stuff because they're better than me. Like JP is like 1,000 times better than me at what he does, so why would I ever try to do that? So I let these guys just do what they're doing and just try to gently guide when I can.
And as far as, say, the environmental aspects, sustainability, do you have any particular thing that you're focused on?
Yeah, I do. I'll tell you a story about that. In about 2000, I used to call people tree huggers and stuff like that. And I didn't get it because I thought technology would solve everything.
Yeah.
So just
That
keep,
was the dream.
Yeah, keep abusing, and then we'll come up with technology.
And it'll suck all this
Yeah,
up.
so Rob Machado first got me interested in sustainability, a famous pro surfer, and
Right.
then at Hurley we started going more that way. And then I'm really passionate about water. Drinking water, ocean water, just water, because number one is air and number two is water, right? Can't live without it. So I'm really passionate about it. And we've done some great work at Hurley, and we're doing great work now with Florence on water. As simple as that sounds.
No, it doesn't sound simple, because that's always been my focus as well.
Oh, yeah?
I came out of, with Surfrider, and so it's, coast highway that way
Yeah.
is where I'm really focused. I appreciate all the efforts done there, but that's not where my heart is. So I
Yeah.
understand that about water and water
Yeah.
quality. So you're doing both potable and ocean stuff? Or?
Well, so far at Florence, it's mostly ocean focused. At Hurley, we worked with a guy named John Rose who founded something called Waves for Water, and we had a great partnership. And I think that was all drinking water. And this simple little filter you can buy. You can go on wavesforwater.com. It's pretty cool. But this simple little filter for $50 will give a family drinking water for 5 years. And it's unbelievable. It seems fake. That sounds like snake oil
Wait a minute,
salesman, right?
drinking water from what?
any dirty water you can
Oh,
find.
okay,
You
clean.
can get water out of the gutter, pour it
Uh-huh.
through this very simple filter that's not much bigger than this microphone. Boom. It's crazy. It sounds
Wow.
fake, right? I just
No,
got
but,
goosebumps thinking
it
about
seems
it.
like that should be part of everybody's emergency kit.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it clears out typhoid and cholera and all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, which is a big problem around
Yeah.
the world.
All right. Well, so anyway,
Yeah.
that's interesting. And
Yep.
so are you here every day? I mean, is that sort of?
Every day I'm in California, I'm here. I love it here.
Yeah.
I love just coming around and like feeling how good it feels to
Well,
have a bunch
I-
of young, smart people doing creative things for
Yes.
the good of the planet
It's
with all the right
always-
intentions.
always
I mean, it's
good-
like utopia, a
Always-
little bit.
Always good to hang out with young people. I think that's why.
I think so.
Keeps you young. Although you notice your own wrinkles more.
Yeah.
In comparison.
Yeah, I took my sunglasses off for this interview. I'm
I
not
know.
sure it was a good mistake.
I know.
Good
Well,
idea.
that's all right. We can always just sort of.
Yeah,
fuzz
yeah.
Your page.
That diamond lens that Linda Evans, you probably wouldn't know who that is.
Yeah,
Used
you
to-
always, you know. Well, thank you so much for your time. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. We're really, as I say, I knew that Hurley was involved in some way. I knew your son was.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that you were also taking.
Oh,
role.
yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
for the time that you spent with us.
A pleasure.
Well, that's our show. I'm back. I'm getting ready to paddle. So while I go around the bay, until next time, let's all work on keeping our village green.